We'll start the meeting now. Roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Pam Clausen.
Pam Plaza, aye. Here.
Assembly Member Bill Rector.
Aye, here.
Assembly Member Pat Huddleston.
Huddleston here.
Assembly Member Jim Blair.
Jim Blair here.
And this is Mayor Don Topper. I'm here. I'm still thinking I'm on Zoom, so I
You can put you on Zoom.
I know. So just to go through the process real quick, we're going to go through and interview everyone individually. We've got, I think, 4 questions for each person. You'll come up here, sit down. Pam's going to ask the questions. When we go through everybody, then we're going to take a break for probably 15 minutes. Each of us on the assembly will score the candidates and rank order them. We've used this process before from 5 to 1. And at the conclusion of that, then we'll hand the ballots over to Dolly and Marcia. They'll tabulate them. We'll come back in, then we will do a resolution to announce who are going to be on the election board. And then I think Cindy is going to have an announcement on when you guys are going to get together and start moving forward. So that said, we'll start the interview process. This is going to be done alphabetically. Jim's Barrett, you're up. Jim.
You gotta be first.
I know. It's a long walk up here.
Before we can start, Pam, took a while when I said hello. I haven't seen him since we used to do coffee with Don.
I know. He's just a recluse now. Yeah, he hangs out in the house. Takes care of 2 dogs. Okay, it's 5 questions. Okay, first question. Why do you want to serve on the election board?
I think that I can offer the town of Cochiti-Lake a positive input with my thoughts and my decisions about who, what, and how we do things.
Number 2, why do you feel that you're qualified to serve on the election board?
I've done this same job before. I've been a mayor, a deputy mayor, and a city councilman, so I know the procedures and how we should do things.
Okay. How would you like to handle a situation where someone, it says, shows up at the polls on election day and tries to campaign for a particular candidate?
I believe that we should escort them off the property within the 100-foot limit and request that they stay there. If they don't, I think we need to call the deputy sheriffs.
If selected, are you willing to sign a statement avowing to remain neutral and not publicly support or campaign for any candidate running in a town election?
I am.
And 5, is there anything you would like to add?
Not with the exception that Cochiti-Lake's a wonderful place to live.
See, it wasn't that painful.
I didn't think it would be.
Thanks, Jim. Gary?
Of course, everyone after Jim has a little bit of benefit.
That's all right. Then the first guy gives you all kinds of things. Poor Jim. Okay, again, it's 5 questions. Number 1, why would you want to serve on the election board?
I believe the elections are important, and I've served the last 3 election cycles. I've been a poll person, twice with the absentee ballots, and last time as a judge, and community involvement.
2, why do you feel that you're qualified to serve on the election board?
I've done the last 3 elections, and
And how would you handle a situation where somebody shows up at the polls on election day and tries to campaign for a particular candidate?
I'd ask them to leave, and then I'd call Blanca over.
And if selected, are you willing to sign a statement avowing to remain neutral and not publicly support a campaign for any candidate running in a town election?
Yes, I am.
And is there anything else you would like to add?
Not really. I mean, I've been here for 5 years and, just doing things and doing different things in the city. And I see Bill and Lisa out walking their dogs, and I helped you pull your golf cart one
Sure
time.
doesn't seem like 5 years ago.
And I helped you unload your pod a couple years ago, and I was on the last election thing, you were at Town-Cochiti-Lake, so.
We were there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay.
Suzanne?
Alphabetical. Yes, we are.
Unfortunately, I wrote them down as I needed it, so I'll get it right.
Again, same 5 questions. Why do you want to serve on the election board?
Because I feel strongly that it is one of those, maybe the most important boards in town, to maintain the neutrality of everybody who's on the board is essential, not only for elections, but also if petitions come up and the board has to decide on the petitions. I mean, I've been here for 13 years now. I've been mayor. I signed the new ordinance for the election board. Worked through that. So I know what's involved, and the thing that spurred me on to sign up was I was hearing a lot of scuttlebutt in the neighborhood that there were people trying to stack the election board so that they could interfere with the assembly elections, not just this time, but the next time. And that horrified me because that's absolutely impermissible. And I could maintain neutrality. I will certainly have my preferences, but it need not interfere with anything that relates to what comes before the election board. So that was the thing that motivated me was, no, if people are running for this because they think they can influence elections, they sure as hell don't have any business being on the election board. Pardon my language. Better than sometimes.
Recorded somewhere. Why do you feel that you're qualified to serve on the board?
Well, I know what the rules are. And been through the process, of the amendment. Bill and I were doing that together. Serving on the assembly for 5 years and as mayor for enough years. I pretty much know how things work and are supposed to work. And I'm just a stickler for following what the rules are for especially the election board. We see nationally the disaster when people get involved.
So how would you handle a situation where someone shows up at the polls on election day and tries to campaign for a particular candidate?
Well, the first thing is you can't do that, and please leave. This is not acceptable anywhere. You can't do that in any election. Not.
And if you are selected, are you willing to sign a statement avowing to remain neutral and not publicly support or campaign for a candidate running in town election?
Absolutely.
And is there anything you would like to add?
I think I probably covered most of it, but I just, I vowed not to do any more volunteering.
What happens with that?
Well, it struck a nerve when I was hearing what some people were wanting to do, and it's just, unacceptable. And I know I can maintain my neutrality in public, because I've done it before.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Back, Susan. Cindy?
She's slipped by me and didn't sit on the front row. You had a reserved seat up here.
Sorry about that. I forgot what you were doing.
Enough to get very verbose about my answers.
Again, 5 questions. Why would you want to serve on the election board?
Well, first of all, I used to do a lot of volunteering, and ever since I moved out here, I haven't really had a chance to do a lot of volunteering because I work in Santa Fe. So this is an opportunity to get involved in the community, to start to learn to understand all the goings-on and how everything works. Another reason is that I really, truly believe that elections are a foundation of good government. So whether that government is local, whether it's state, whether it's national, if elections aren't free, if they aren't fair, if they aren't transparent, then there's a problem. So I work in enforcing rules for the state. So that is something that I feel very strongly about, is that if you enforce the rules evenly, that it levels the playing field and makes things just run more smoothly.
And why do you feel that you're qualified to serve on the election board?
Well, I have to say I don't have the experience that a lot of what I've heard from other people, but I am quite involved in enforcing rules. I read rules and understand them. That's part of my job. And I'm willing, I'm committed, and if I'm chosen, you can always count on me to do what I say I'm going to do.
And how would you handle a situation where someone shows up at the polls on election day and tries to campaign for a particular candidate?
Well, first of all, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and simply go talk to them and say, you do understand that this is not allowed and you must move at least 100 feet away. And if they don't get the hint, then you just very bluntly ask them to leave. If they still don't comply, then you have to call in some force.
And if selected, are you willing to sign a statement avowing to remain neutral and not publicly support or campaign for any candidate running in a town election?
Of course.
Would you like to, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I think that this is a good way for an actual introvert like me to try to, meet some new people, to get involved and to contribute. So there we go. Thanks.
Thank you, Sue. Maureen?
Five questions. Why do you want to serve on the election board?
Actually, I put my name in because I was afraid there wouldn't be enough candidates. I really was afraid. I really was afraid. I think voting is just the most important thing our country has, and I've loved Cochiti-Lake for 26 years, and all I want to do is see the process followed through, and I am so grateful. Thank you for having this in the open and in person. I've missed seeing that venue because I don't know how to do the Zoom technology, but I just thank you.
And why do you feel you're qualified to serve on the election board?
I've been on Democratic Town Committee in Massachusetts. I've been on the Assembly in Cochiti-Lake. I've been involved in various aspects of Cochiti-Lake, and so I feel that I'm qualified to volunteer.
And how would you handle a situation where someone shows up at the polls on election day and tries to campaign for a particular candidate?
I think the person before me, I don't know her, but I thought that was a great answer, is kindly ask them or explain to them that it's not legal, ask them to remove themselves from the area, and again, take it to another level if that were not the case.
And if you're selected, are you willing to sign a statement avowing to remain neutral and not publicly support or campaign for any candidate running in a town election?
Absolutely.
And is there anything else you would like to add?
The only thing I would like to add is that I would love other people to have an opportunity to serve on the election board. I feel my 26 years, I think some views get mighty old, and I'd love to see new ideas and new thoughts and the people who need to meet people and help us move on. And I'm just grateful to be able to put my name in, but I would be so happy to see others serve where I've already had the opportunity. Coward. I'm a coward.
I wasn't going there. Thanks, Marty. Aurora? I didn't see Aurora.
She's not here.
Okay. Okay, well, all right, that's all of the interviews. We're gonna take about a 15-minute break, so wander around, explore the place. There's,
Now, let me just say, the facilities, if anyone needs them, all the way through the gym, on your left-hand side, the last left-hand, don't go out the door, but just turn to your left, and there's a nice men's and women's.
They hide them on purpose.
Yeah, but they're nice.
Can I ask one question? How many of these people will actually serve on the board? Because there's a minimum,
Five.
but I don't think there's a maximum, is there?
Yes,
Five.
it's 5 members.
Okay,
that's against the rank order, 1 through 5.
okay.
Okay, we'll take a pause and, we're gonna quick meeting back to order.
That's 83, right there.
You got it.
Come on, get Gail out of my seat.
Oh, sorry.
I'll sit down, Gail. I'll sit here.
You go.
All right.
You're the candidate.
Okay, just to go back through it, we had 6 people submit. It was James Barrett, Gary Fritsch, Suzanne Guy, Cindy Hollenberg, Maureen Johnson, Aurora Sanchez. Aurora didn't make it tonight. The ones that were selected, James Barrett, Gary Fritsch, Suzanne Guy, and Cindy Hollenberg. Maureen, you got off the, you got off the interview well. So the next step up is the resolution, and,
Mr. Riker's up to read that, please.
oh, good.
Town-Cochiti-Lake, Resolution 2023-07, a resolution to appoint election board members. Whereas, the election board is a necessary and vital component of the town of Cochiti-Lake elections. And whereas the election board consists of 5 members, and the following candidates are in good standing with the town. Be it resolved by the Assembly of the town of Cochiti-Lake, the 4 candidates are approved. The following 4 candidates are approved to the election board for a term of 6 years.
Are you serious?
And they are James Barrett, Gary Frisch, Suzanne Guy, Cindy Hollenberg, and that's support.
Okay.
Duly adopted this 13th day of April 2023 by the Assembly of the Town of Cochiti-Lake and meeting thereof.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Pam.
I
Do we have-
second.
Thank you, Pat. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll go through the voting process then. Pam Plaza, how do you vote?
Pam Plaza votes aye.
Bill Riker,
Aye.
Pat Huddleston,
Huddleston, aye?
Jim,
Jim both sides.
and this is Don Topper. I still think I'm on Zoom, don't I? I vote aye. So the motion passes and is approved. Thank everyone for volunteering to come down, including you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Our town runs on.
Thank you. I'm very
If you
grateful
haven't been here a long
for
time,
these guys. Thank you.
Our town runs on volunteers. It really
You bet.
does. So thanks, everyone. Cindy, thank you for hanging in. And it's on, now, you've got an announcement to
Yeah,
make.
thank you. This is our new board. I'm so grateful for you stepping up and coming forward. And Monday, I would like to have all get together over at the library about 6 o'clock. Cindy, will that work?
At night, I presume.
Yeah. If you know me, you know it's not bad.
It's pretty
So,
complicated.
and I'll have some notebooks for you. We're going to start putting a board together. Okay? And so 6 o'clock, Monday, it's the 17th, over in our library in Peña. And thank you again.
Now, just to affirm that you've made the best decision, I said to Cindy, I'd like to introduce myself. Who are you? She said, I only worked 2 elections, national elections, with you, Maury, and Paul. And I'm like, that tells you I do not belong here.
I just don't.
No, I said that, not you.
Thank you as always. So do we have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Do we have a second?
And I'll second.
Thank you, Pam. Pam, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Bill Riker, how do you vote? Pat?
Huddleston, aye.
Jim?
Jim, aye.
This is Don Topper, I vote no, so it won't be unanimous, but it passes. Motion is approved and the meeting's over.
I have to record that.